Okay, so I'm here with Alex Sutton. He's a filmmaker behind Blind as Love. Congratulations, welcome to Madrid.
Hi Steve, it's a real pleasure.
Thank you. As always, I know the film, I've seen the film, but if you can give us a brief synopsis. I was going to read it off Film Freeway, but I'll let you tell me the story.
Sure, well it's a short thriller.
And who this twisted individual is that came up with this idea.
It's a short thriller and it's about an American woman in London. She's a photographer.
Yeah.
And she has to go and shoot this band in a nightclub, which she doesn't really want to do. But then she falls for this mysterious guy there, okay? But then out one of the windows she witnesses a horrific incident, which she then decides to investigate, which is kind of what she wants to do in the first place. But then she gets involved in a tangled web of desire, music and darkness.
So where's the personal angle? What part of this sort of relates to you? Any of it?
Well, lots actually.
I bet you're in a band.
The band, yes, but bit of a spoiler alert. The film started with the guide dog,
right?
Which we see at the end. Okay, so and there's a story behind that because.
Sorry, so when you say that is actually where it all it can't be where it all starts from.
It is.
Oh,
and
right, okay.
being a filmmaker as I am at the moment as well, all from this guide dog. Okay, so.
Oh right, well hang on. So how did it all? The inspiration come from a guide dog. How did that happen?
Well, my mum and dad, their neighbour, took part in this scheme because they live near a guide dog training school, okay?
Right.
And there's this scheme called the boarding scheme where the dogs, they work and they train during the day, but they stay with the family overnight and the weekends to get them used to living with their client. So they thought this would be a good idea. It would be a nice thing to do, and the guide dogs are life-changing animals, and they thought it would be a
literally, aren't they?
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, a positive, interesting, worthwhile thing to do. So it was last February that they eventually got one of these dogs, and I met this dog and it was like, wow, what an incredible creature, you see. But the thing was, he was great, but he failed his training. Not all of them make it through.
Yeah, because I would assume that they do, but of course it's not the case. A bit like the training dogs they use for the police, and that's quite high
same kind of thing. So in the end, they kept him.
Right, okay.
So he wanted to be a movie star instead, you see. Right. That was his real calling, as it happens. But no, when I kind of met this dog and you realise how inspirational they are, I was thinking, what kind of stories could they tell? How many stories are behind each one of these dogs and their clients, who they're with, and their partner, you see. So, and that was in February last year, and I've been wanting to make films for a long time, but I've got a regular job and life gets in the way, all that kind of stuff.
What is your regular job?
I'm an eye doctor.
Oh, right, so there's more than, okay.
So there's a bit of a theme going on with seeing and vision, all that kind of stuff, which links in with cinema as well. It's all about seeing and that kind of thing, so it's all wrapped up.
So had you not made a film before?
No. So I've done stuff when I was younger. I've always been interested in it, home videos and that kind of stuff, but not a proper film like this. So
another eye doctor is a filmmaker from Australia, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
Was he here this
No,
week?
No. He was last year before. Sorry, me going off piece. But the story with him was he had just always wanted to make films, and he just became, as he got older, and just started saying he had to do, and he ended up making films.
So that was in February, and then I discovered the Met Film School in London.
Yeah.
And I discovered that they actually do a part-time filmmaking course, which is fantastic because it allowed me to count as my regular job but still do all the training and stuff. So I wasn't going to make this massive leap into the unknown without knowing whether I'd be any good or what would happen. So I started that in September, and I kind of had the idea for a film about a guide dog, but I wasn't really sure what to do. But then I kind of worked backwards, and I wanted to make the most kind of intense kind of story about someone for whom the vision is so important, so the photographer and all that. And I linked it with the massive problem in the UK at the moment.
Brexit?
Acid, that too, but the acid attacks.
Oh my God, yeah, and they seem to be more prevalent.
Every day. In this week, I've seen like 2 or 3 more in the news.
Yeah, and I mean, it is horrifying because we all know this story about the baby that's happened.
Unbelievable.
Which, we won't necessarily, because it is so horrific, it sort of beggars belief, really.
I know. But again, it's kind of personal too. Luckily for me, I wasn't hit by acid, but I was attacked in my car. I was driving along, there's some madman on the road. All of a sudden, I'm feeling hot and wet. It sounds hilarious now, but I was actually attacked with hot soup, right?
Randomly?
Well, kind of.
Must have been.
Yeah. This guy was having road rage. I hooted, right, because he almost killed a cyclist, right? He didn't like it, and he got out, started lobbing things, okay? And then he came back in the car, drove beside me, and then lobbed what turned out to be hot soup over me. But it could have been anything.
Of course, it could have been acid, frankly.
Exactly. So, thank God it was just soup. So I can laugh about it now, but think of the people that...
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So
and it is literally life-changing, which, people know, I'm sure know, but this stuff is, it is life-changing, isn't it?
So I got away lightly, but again, it just brought home what's going on. So I linked all these things together, and I wanted to have a lot of music in it as well.
Oh, great.
I love music in films, so I wrote the song for the band, and I've got a song for the
So you couldn't use a
girl.
Pink Floyd track or anything like that? The royalties would have been too high.
I love writing my own music. I've been writing my own music for a long time.
No, I've listened. Yeah, it's great.
So again, film is just such a wonderful thing because it brings so many different artistic disciplines together: music, acting, fine art, and all these things. And that's why it's just such a wonderful medium, and why I love doing it, and why I'm so excited to be here and hope to continue doing it.
It's a couple of things to pick up on. You're absolutely right about the medium film. For those, it's hard to quantify and explain to people. I'm not a film, but I know, because obviously I've done over 750 interviews, so I know, and I've seen obviously thousands of films, how it draws so many different professions, actually. It's bizarre. I mean, I've spoken to filmmakers that were in previous lives architects, eye doctors, gynecologists, doctors, lawyers, accountants.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And often we really wanted to do it, but life got in the way, we needed to earn money and blah, blah, blah. But once they do it, they get hooked by it, because it's like an addiction, isn't it? Because I dare say now you've done it.
Well, the thing is, if you've got all that creativity inside you, you just have to get it out, You can't just sit there and do a regular thing, routine. It's got to come out.
Now, the concept of making a film, the reality of making a film, can you give us I kind of know, because again, I've spoken to this, but can you tell us from your point of view what you thought it'd be like and what it actually ended up being like? Because I'm sure you love this film and it's fantastic, but just give us a flavour of how much maybe harder or easier you thought. I dare say it was harder. A lot harder.
It's the intensity of it, and it's the funny thing is the filmmaking itself, the production period is so short in relative terms. And in our case at Met Film, we had to do our shoot. We were allocated one weekend. Okay, so the brief was to create a 10-minute film. So
it sounds, now for people that don't know, I know 10 minutes sounds like a weekend. A 10-minute film sounds like time. Yeah. It isn't. It really isn't.
So generally, in terms of shooting a film, it's roughly 1 minute per page. So if you have a 10-minute film, 10 pages of script, that roughly works out. And each day you can shoot on average 5 pages comfortably. So
you're tight already, aren't you?
Frankly. So the script ended up being 15 pages, which was pushing it a little bit, and there were some scenes in there which I thought, maybe we could cut to get it into time. But I thought, no, I can't, because it's all part of the story. And the film ended up in total being 27 minutes, which, when I watch it, it flies by. But to get that done in 2 days, and we had lots of exterior locations, different interior locations. It was insane. We worked 13 hours each day, and everyone worked so hard. It was just... I had such an unbelievable team. That makes a real difference.
And as it's your first film, and you'd never presumably done any kind of casting, how did you get them? And because a lot of filmmakers been around know the gig, don't they? But you're new to this. You're thrown in the deep end. How are you going to find the people?
It's the learning curve is steep, but again, it's really exciting. At Met Film, we had classes with actors. And when they first brought them in, it's like, okay, this is an actor. It's like, okay, it's like they're a different species, but obviously they're not. And acting is so important in terms of directing, and acting is something I'm taking classes myself in now. Because
so you want to do that?
Well,
maybe
from the point of view of a director, it's really important to understand acting.
Right.
And a writer as well, because how can you write lines or direct actors if you don't know how the actors are going to?
That's a good idea.
Or act them. So everything you read really encourages writers and directors to study that. So I've started, and it's just great fun. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, I've never done this and been involved. Obviously, like I say, I've spoken to loads of films. I know what the buzz is. And is it now that you've done it, you can't stop doing it? Does that make sense? I mean, you've got to make more films now.
Well, I've already made my second film.
Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
what is that?
Well, that was for the Straight 8 competition. I don't
That's
know
a
if you've heard of
rom-com.
it.
No, I haven't.
No, it's the challenge is you have to make one film on one reel of
Oh,
Super
no,
8.
I have heard about this. On
Yeah?
Super, I didn't know
Yeah.
Super 8.
So it's 3 minutes 20, which is one cartridge of Super 8 film.
Right.
And there's no editing because you have to make it in the camera. So you have to shoot the scenes on the camera exactly as they're going to turn out
In
in
order?
the end. Yeah, in
Obviously,
the order.
because,
of
yeah,
the-
you can't, there's no editing.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no soundtrack either that you can record at the time. You have to provide a soundtrack, but you have to record that separately, just send it in. Then you send the film to the lab, they develop it, sync the soundtrack, and that's it. Okay. So I haven't.
This sounds like grief.
It's it's just so much fun, and to shoot on film as well, because everything these days is digital. You know, coming into film at this point, cinema, everything is all completely transferred to digital. But to go,
Cost, convenience,
Yeah.
and the fact is you can get a film. Look, I know people say you can tell. I don't think you can tell the difference. In fact, I've asked filmmakers, I said not really, you can't tell anymore because it's too close, isn't it now?
it's great. The modern digital is great, but there's something really special about film as well. And holding a film camera and hearing it whirring around.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did this film called Swings and Roundabouts, and that's going to premiere at the NFT on the South Bank next week. So they've selected 20 films for the London premiere.
And you're one of them.
Yeah, so that's really exciting.
Wow.
So I've got Madrid this week, I've got London next week with my second film, and it's just amazing.
Now, I never ever ask anyone about budgets, none of my business, but I would like to know, if you don't mind me asking, you're going to have a set budget, let's call that X. You've got to try and stay within X. How difficult was it to stay within X?
Tricky.
Did you manage to do it?
Well, the thing is, this film kind of grew. I've got so much stuff going on now.
Oh, well,
I've
so
got the
you're
police.
adjusting the budget accordingly as you're going? Is that how it's working with you? Or you just
Well,
oh my God.
as a first film, you're not really too aware of that. You don't even think about it to start
Right.
with. But obviously you do once you get going, and
The credit card bill comes
yeah.
in, yeah.
And now I've got a very good understanding of it, and it's very important for the future. But you know, you chuck everything in it, and when you've got police cars and that sort of thing, and I had to have the actual Met Police supervising the acting police. So there were two police officers, 2 police cars.
And that's all got to be paid for.
Yeah,
obviously.
and they were hanging around in the freezing. This is in February that we shot it, in the freezing cold outside.
That's February this year.
This year,
Because it's bitterly cold in February.
it was. So we're on the bridge at 9 o'clock at night.
Oh God.
It was, and so you know we'd already an hour over, okay, and then literally had about half an hour possible shooting to go on the bridge scene, one of the climactic scene of the film, you know, those crucial elements, and then the monitor failed for the camera, you know, and then thank God one of the camera assistants, he rustled around in his bag, he found a spare monitor, put it on, off we go, and we did the final thing in basically at one take.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, we got it.
Thank God for that.
It's just the way things all kind of come together.
Do you wish...
If you think about it now, I mean, my first film, okay, all the things, you should never work with children and animals. But my first film, I've got a child singing, a dog, a band, a taxi car, a police, extras. I mean,
but where did you get these two?
Lunacy.
Where did you find them? Well, is that through the Met stuff?
well, David, he did one of the classes with us at the Met.
Oh, well, that's
he's
good.
a
So you
village
already
and
knew him.
so he's a wonderful actor. I mean, as soon as because the film was mostly written at the time that I met him, and he was just sitting there, I saw him, and I thought there was this side of him, he could sort of do that flip from kind of nice to nasty,
Yeah.
that really subtle flip, where he's in that transition there,
Yeah,
actually.
you can kind of see it, can't
Oh,
you? It's in the eyes and the mouth.
on that screenshot, and I just thought he'd be perfect, okay? And it just so happened that he knew he'd worked before with Mariah, she's American, and that's what I want, American accent for the part.
Yeah,
so he'd worked with her before.
Because she is a real American, we should point this. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
She doesn't put it on. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I did her again. She was ideal, and so it worked that way.
Do you wish you had become a filmmaker earlier in life, or was the time just about right?
It's easy to look back and think, oh man,
'Cause we could all change things,
We could
yeah.
all done that, yeah. But the thing is, filmmaking, it's not easy, and the desire can be there to make films. You can have the technical knowledge and stuff, but in terms of sort of understanding story, understanding characters, and dealing with so many different people, cast, crew, and all that.
Because they're all coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going, oh my God, it's my first film. Okay, got to be strong. Got to be, yeah.
It takes a lot of life experience to be able to handle that.
But is it an amazing thing to do?
It's wonderful. Yeah. So being a doctor for a number of years, it's given me a lot. Okay. And so I really don't think I'd have been able to make this kind of film, this level of film, had I done this 10 years ago, sort of thing. So
well, yeah, not just because of the resources, because of the moment in your life, and all that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And all the things that happen to you. So it's easy to look back and say no, but now is just the perfect time, and also it gives you that stronger energy and desire, if you've left it slightly later, to really push and keep going and make a success of it, which I'm really planning to do. So yeah, it's working out great.
Well done, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.